Welcome back, everybody, to the Mizzou Esports Twitch channel. I'm Aurora here with Bailey, and we've got an exciting match tonight. It's going to be Mizzou versus George Mason University. We're on to draft already, and it's fearless, meaning that whenever they pick a champion, they cannot play it for the rest of the series, and it really opens up these champ pools from each of these players.
Oh yeah, should be really interesting to see here what they choose to pick, since it is, the first time and only time they'll pick these champions. But yeah, should be a pretty exciting match, some exciting games here. Do have some pretty standard bans. The Seraphine banned out, I think, against GMU's ADC, plays a lot of Seraphine in ranked, also a very strong champion, so very understandable. And then GMU chose to ban the Skarner and Wukong, so definitely targeting Kites, our jungler.
Yeah, definitely targeting Kites. They're also just incredibly strong champions right now. They're very, very prominent, especially for those first picks. So just knocking those off the table, they're very good. We've seen Kites play both of them quite a lot. So just taking those off the table. Mizzou banning the Yone, targeting that mid laner there for GMU. They do play it. It is also very strong and very annoying. And then Belvath, a target over there towards GMU's jungler.
Oh yeah. And the final ban from GMU being the Syndra, which is kind of interesting. Apparently there's a bug with Syndra right now that one of her abilities doesn't cost any mana. So I thought that Syndra would just be disabled through these matches, but perhaps she isn't. In which case, or either way, Jim is very strong on the Syndra, so it makes sense to ban that. But also, if that bug is still happening and she's not disabled, then
it's just kind of an instant pick.
Yeah.
I did see. It is her W.
Her W.
Her W is free. There's no mana. It doesn't matter how many points it is, how you level it, anything like that. When it upgrades, it is always 0 mana, so it just gives her that more powerful laning phase. You just get a free spell, essentially, and it's a very powerful one at that.
Yeah. So definitely a good ban there, for sure.
Definitely a good ban. We have seen Mochi play it without the bug, and it still performed very well, so it's just another very powerful champion in the hands of Mizzou, if they were able to get it. Meanwhile, picks now. Varus going to be the first pick here for Mizzou. Very strong champion that has shown up very recently. A lot of range, a lot of engage. GMU responds to the Ashe. We've seen this a lot. When you go for that Varus, the response is usually that Ashe. Same kind of play style. Has that engage, has that long range, has that safety.
Yeah.
So just long range and mobile air to carries that have that engage. Nocturne picked up here for GMU. I did look. They do play a lot of Nocturne as well.
Nocturne is also just such a strong champion. Being able to have so much mobility and taking away vision across the map whenever he ults is just so strong, especially in competitive play like this. So not a bad pick there at all. Mizzou is going to respond with Sejuani and Aurora.
Yeah, I mean, Sejuani, we've seen Kites play it before. It kind of pairs along with that Varus for that very fast pick potential. You hit someone with the Chains of Corruption or with that Glacial Prison. It's very easy and very quick to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Aurora locked in. We've seen both Sentimo Mochi and Apex play this. They've seen a lot of success on both of them. So just picking this up early to take it away from GMU as such a powerful character that can be flexed both into mid and top is a very good pick here.
Absolutely, yeah. Does look like GMU thinks it is a mid lane pick, though, as they did ban the Cassante and the Renekton, which I think are pretty interesting bans, but both strong champions, not too crazy there.
Just banning out some of the harder counters for Camille. Camille was picked up there for GMU on R3. So Cassante, very powerful character, very good into Camille. You can easily block the hook shot so that you don't get stunned. You don't get any problem with that. You have answers to her. You're very tanky. You can pull her over a wall very quickly with the all-out. Renekton as well, that early lane bruiser, can go toe-to-toe with Camille if it is paired up in the right situation with that jungle help. It can be a very problematic pick that Camille has struggled with in the past. Mizzou, knowing that they're going to target the mid lane with that Galio ban. They do play Galio. It is very good with Camille with that Nocturne to just follow up very quickly in those engages.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, the Leone there, I think, is really smart, especially if you're scared about a really strong CC lane, and Ashe Leona is definitely one of those lanes. So 2 very good bans there from Mizzou, and GMU is going to pick up the Sylas.
Yeah, Sylas, very versatile. He can take anyone's ult. There's a lot of good ultimates to steal. Change of Corruption's pretty good. It's just that single target. Same along with the Glacial Prison. Aurora ulti is very fun to pick up as Sylas because he has a lot of mobility as well. So he can kind of go back and forth around kind of like Aurora does, and it's very fun to kind of mix up and mix around, especially with the E, the dash, the chains, having the W, getting the heal. You can really outplay some of these fights, and Mizzou their support is going to be that Rakan. Also, very good ultimate for the Silas.
Oh yeah, I think Rakan, did he just get buffed this week, or if buffs are going to come out for Rakan soon? But either way, very strong champion, very good support to have. A lot of engage and mobility in these team fights. Mizzou also picking up that Akshan though, very comfort pick for Jim there. You can see he looks a little happy about it. And I think their team has a decent amount of AP with Aurora already, so not too terrible of a pick.
Yeah, it is unfortunate though to not see that enchanter to go with the double 80
Yes,
carry.
yeah.
Something like a Lulu here would be really good. It really kind of screws the Nocturne Camille engage.
Yeah.
Whenever he goes on someone, you just kind of polymorph him. You go ahead and use the wild growth, and the person he jumps on is probably going to survive pretty easily. You don't really have to worry. Plus, you get the bonus damage. Akshan and Varus, heavy auto attackers, unless you go into that lethality slash AP build that Varus has in the
Yeah.
past. Although I think for the time being, it's kind of been that Bork meta for the Varus, so
Yeah.
has been going that attack speed. Akshan has the double shot passive, so one stat attack speed, and Lulu with that just really helps to elevate those, especially with the new changes. I don't think they're out where the attack speed buff now for 80 carries is 3.0.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, pretty interesting comp overall there for Mizzou, but this is Fearless Draft. They could be just planning ahead because they know they're definitely going to have a game two, thinking about, what champs they still want to have on the board for them to pick. It looks like GMU is going to pick up the Maokai as their last pick support there. Yeah, looking at these drafts, what do you think?
Looking at the drafts, JMU, lot of engage and a
Oh, yeah.
lot of follow-up. Nocturne can follow Camille, vice versa. Silas has a lot of good ultimates to steal on Mizzou's side to follow up. Ash is there as well. Maokai for those long engages down a lane, those
Mm-hmm.
big wide AoE teamfight ones. So JMU, a lot of engage, both single target and AoE. A lot of good, very powerful pick targets, especially if they can jump on Varus or Akshan or Aurora.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very quick time to kill on a lot of these characters. Mizzou, they have a little bit more survivability. The Sejuani is a lot tankier than any of them on GMU's side. Maybe the Maokai later on will get tanky, but he's in that support position. He's not going to have gold, so he's going to
Right.
be a little bit behind on the item side and on those tank stat-wise. And Mizzou has some good engage as well. Varus has good engage. Sejuani has that good solo engage. And then Rakan can also follow up along with that Sejuani if they
Mm-hmm.
find something. So they both have good engages and good team fights. I'm just really curious. It really is going to come down to if GMU can find those picks with the
Yes.
Nocturne, with the Camille. If they can pick off someone in a fight very quickly and turn it into a 4v5,
Yeah.
it's going to really make Mizzou struggle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest difference between these two drafts for me is that Mizzou has so much better disengage with the Rakan especially, can really help that. Aurora's so mobile. So it'll be really interesting to see if GMU can accomplish getting those picks despite all of that mobility.
Yeah, it's really going to be kind of bunching up and protecting that Varus.
Oh, yeah.
No mobility,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like Isaiah paired up with the Rakan, where they have the Blade Storm, the invulnerability, and untargetability.
Right.
So if you're able to get on top of Varus and he doesn't have flash, and there's no way that Rakan can protect him,
Mhm.
he's gonna die very, very
Yes.
quickly, especially if Nocturne goes the more damage-oriented build.
Yeah, I do think Rakan, though, should have a decent time peeling still. But, and, Prefects is one of the best. What can we say? So I think he'll do a pretty good job staying at decent range and using that to his advantage to get out of these tricky situations. Also, he still uses ult very well. It has a relatively low cooldown later on. So hopefully Mizzou can use all of that to their advantage, use these timings intelligently, and play it safe.
Yeah, another thing is I'm worried about as the game progresses, no one's going to be really able to match that Camille.
Yeah.
Aurora eventually is going to get to a point where Camille can get on top of her very quickly, very easily,
Yeah.
and Aurora's damage is just not going to be enough to get through the damage and the HP that Camille's going to have.
Yeah.
And Camille's just going to be that side-leading menace that Mizzou is going to have to deal with, and they don't really have someone to deal with that. So as the game goes on, GMU can just play this 4-1 comp and have the Camille in the side lane. Nocturne very quickly can rotate over if someone's down there trying to
Yeah.
match her, and Mizzou need to capitalize on the 3v4. And if they can't, then GMU is going to have a very, very strong side push.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out on the Rift, and we'll.
Yeah. So we are going to go ahead and take a quick break while we wait for Spectre to delay. So don't go anywhere. Mizzou versus GMU. Game 1 up in a few. We'll see them. Welcome back, everybody. We are on to the Rift for game number 1, Mizzou versus GMU. We see the
Is this
GMU stack up towards the top,
a lane swap or?
maybe, but I think it is going to be an early lane swap. We do see the
Because the Camille is
Camille
bot,
over
but
towards that bot side, so I love it. I love to
Yeah.
see it.
very interesting to see how Mizzou responds to this, if they're going to decide to swap back or just deal with it. Inferno is walking into the Camille, taking a little bit of damage, but nothing too serious.
Yeah, but that will reveal that it is an early lane swap.
Yes.
Does
yes.
Mizzou swap as well in response? We do know that the Aurora is going top, and yes, they will.
Yes, looks like they are swapping.
They're
going to
match. Thank God.
Yes.
I do not want to see the 1v2 lane.
Yeah, I think the only downside here is that GMU does have vision now into Mizzou's blue side, or blue buff there, where it looks like Kites is starting, so a little bit risky if they don't know that vision is there, but I think they do.
Yeah, I think they do. They at least know there was a ward dropped there. It did get swept, so they might have an idea, especially as the Rakan arrives late to lane. Aurora down in the bot lane. Apex just getting some damage using that passive triple proc very well. Has the electrocute to help that damage. Very quick to proc on Aurora with the pullback and the auto attack being able to proc it pretty much instantly. Has the level 2 advantage and it's going to go ahead and get some damage over. Meanwhile, level 2 tag here for Camille as well. Has the hook shot. Went for a play, but couldn't find anything. It is also the flash on the Camille. No ignite. No ignite teleport here. Less kill pressure in the lane phase at least.
Yeah, I feel like teleport, even with the changes, is still pretty strong and good to have on your team. There have been quite a few games where, if nobody has teleport, it feels pretty bad. So thankfully, Apex does have that teleport as well to match Camille, but unfortunately that is the only teleport on the team. So it'll be interesting to see there how that goes.
Junglers both pathing towards that bot side right now. Senta Momochi doing pretty well here contesting and keeping this Silas down a little bit lower. Has the ignite. We see Senta Momochi run this. Very confident, looking for these early plays. Goes in with the ignite. It won't kill, I don't think, but
Not
it
enough
is
to
going to
kill.
force it to recall.
Still, yeah, a very good play. Interesting to see if Silas decides to TP back to lane.
Oh, he's actually staying.
Interesting. I feel like a very nice auction Q there could definitely take him down if he's not careful.
Prefects almost missed Canyon.
My goat would never miss cannon, don't worry.
Inferno saved him. Kites finds this Nocturne. Sejuani does win these early. Just
A little risky there, though, with Silas. I mean, he is still very low, but definitely able to move.
is confident. Unfortunately, watched as the
Ooh, very
got
nice
hit.
cleanse.
The flash forward. A nice arrow will claim first blood. Now onto the Maokai. They can't find it. Attack helicopter forced to flash. Prefects burns both summoner spells. They burn the ignite as well, but it does go the way over towards Mizzou for that first blood on two prefects. Now Apex out of mana, trying to find the third proc. Will not.
Yeah, unfortunately, the autos there on Aurora are not doing enough damage yet to
Out
make
of
much of a
mana
difference.
as well too, so
Yeah.
has to be careful. Probably going to see a recall here once this last caster dies.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like a swap back here with the Ashe being bot lane. I was going to say that play top, it's hard to say if that was really worth it for Mizzou or not, using both the cleanse and flash from Prefects and the ignite from Inferno and only using the flash from Ashe. But she is a pretty mobile champion. It could be worth it if they can kill her again in the next 5 minutes, get more stacks towards those feats of warfare.
Does get that first blood too, which is a big, big deal.
Yes,
Looking at items
unfortunately-
wise, hopefully Mizzou can abuse it. It's going to be the Dirk versus the Cole. So Ashe playing this long con, and Prefects is really going to try to push this advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, First Blood doesn't have as much gold anymore, though, and the Feats of Warfare is 3 kills instead of just the 1, so a little bit less. But if Mizzou can keep it up, get some more kills, they're at least one step closer to that Feats of Warfare.
Yeah, definitely one step closer. Dragon is up. It is going to be Mountain Dragon for the first one. Grub's up here in a few. Bot lane is back in the bot lane. Top lane is back in the top lane. Everything is as it should be. As Kite's going to go in, going to get some damage. Not able to get the stun, so Silas will stay alive.
If nothing else, he's doing a good job forcing Silas to back off over and over again, making sure they have prio for this dragon coming up here soon.
Yeah, they will. At least there's a big, nice Rainbow Smash there from the Maokai. Stops the engagement for no. Dragon's still up, and Mizzou is going to try to follow. They are a little bit behind GMU for the time being, as Grubs have also spawned. It might just be a trade of neutrals here. Venom.
It's pretty risky where Ash is right now, since it is a 2v3, having the jungler there. We're just going to see if the mid laners decide to move, I assume. Yeah, Silas is going to go up for those Grubs, though, so.
It is unfortunate for Mizzou. They don't know that Nocturne is on Grubs right now, and they're actually going to get off. They're going to start looking for Aurora. They do have the Paranoia, so the lights might go off, but they instead back away, back onto the Grubs. Silas moves up and just secures that. They will get all Grubs for free. No response here from Mizzou. Silas back in the mid lane. Sejuani now going to start up the Dragon a little bit late, but should be able to claim it.
Yes, it does look like that basic trade for objectives there. Unfortunately, it does allow Nocturne to take our blue buff, though. So hopefully Kites can counter that by getting a little bit more farm for himself after taking this dragon. And definitely needs to be able to prio this next scrub spawns. He doesn't give over all 6 to GMU, but it'll be interesting to see how this pathing goes for both sides now that the first few objectives have been taken.
Yeah, both objectives down, so what is the jungler's plan? There is still that Paranoia online for Nocturne, which is a really big power spike. He wants to be looking to use that off cooldown to try to get as much value as he can from it. Prefects, nice snipe there.
It is kind of hard to say, though, what lanes are even the best to go for right now. I don't think anybody's too overextended. There's nowhere you really want to get prio for any objectives just yet.
Nice hop there from Apex to dodge out on the hook shot. Might look for the solo kill. He's going to go ahead and drop the rums between, trying to find this. Venom still has flash, and Apex is just not fast enough to flash forward.
Very close there. It is flash for flash.
Oh, unfortunately, there's going to be the Paranoia. It's a Bunny with no hop. Going to try to get away. Dodges the hook shot. Unfortunately, the Hextech ultimatum will lock the Bunny down.
Yeah, very unfortunate with the tower prio there. I think if... Oh, Kites is their top lane. Not sure if he'll be able to make a play.
Oh, there was a recall, so he is going to try to look for Venom. Did not get the E passive, but Venom has no mana. Kite's just trying to get damage. I don't think they have the Q. They're going to try to go under tower. They will get some damage. I think Kites will die up in the top lane, giving Venom the double kill. Momochi trying to get the comeuppance, gets blocked by the turret. Gonna try to stop the recall. He won't be able to. Venom somehow is able to kill Kites, what felt like an absolute throw.
Yeah, very interesting play there. Unfortunately, the Venom was able to get away with his own life, but Kites does burn ult and flash, which is a pretty unfortunate loss there for Mizzou. It's going to be really, really hard to secure these next few sets of objectives as they'll be spawning before those cooldowns are back up.
And that's really going to put Kites behind. He's down 2 levels now on Hydroshi, and Hydroshi has had a successful gank. Kites goes in, dies, and is down 60 farm, 2 levels. It really feels like Mizzou's tempo from that early kill in that top lane, the 2v2 with Prefects, has just been wiped away.
You know, I think at this point...
Apex trying to just fight back. Good kiting there.
Yes, very good mobility. But I think at this point, Kites needs to just kind of focus on getting his CS back up, being in the game.
Into Momochi. Will dodge out on the arrow. Has hook shot, so is able...
Yeah,
to also just get away.
That's what we talked about during draft. Mizzou is just such a mobile team. It's really good for them to stay away from these very scary engages.
Inferno dodges out on the chains, so we'll get away. Ooh, Venom will eat a tower shot. Apex is getting some damage. A nice stun there. They're going to try to turn this. Inferno's going to burn the Quickening, going to get the double knockup. They're looking for one. Prefects finds the first. And that's another route over there, thanks to the Chains of Corruptions. Double kill over to the Prefects.
And the Feats of Warfare.
Feats of Warfare, yes.
Very, very good. I mean, Prefects is looking so strong now. 3-0-0 at 10 minutes. Not bad to see on your AD carry at all. And this should mean that Grubs are secured here. They'll have to watch out if Nocturne tries to go in and just take one from them to prevent them getting the stack towards, what is it, the Feat of Monster
Feat of
Slaying?
Monster Slaying.
Yeah.
We'll have to
and he
see.
is
They're
looking-
thinking about it. They send the skill shot over. It will not find the Grub. So 3-3. Mizzou up to 2 neutrals.
Very
They might
risky
look
here.
for more. There's going to be the Paranoia going to be used. It's a good stun, though, on Hydroshi. They're trying to find it, and Sinta Momochi will eventually claim it. Now, Prefix is over here as well. GMU have to turn and run. Sinta Momochi looking onto Wild. Psyduck, the Ignite will take away. That'll give Sinta Momochi the reset. But unfortunately, everyone has gotten away. Another 2 go over to the way of Mizzou.
I mean, that Akshan damage was just great there. Really able to shred the Nocturne before he could even do anything with the Paranoia. Really just a great look there by Mizzou. Kites played it really, really well, backing out once he saw the Ash, making sure that they didn't turn it into a trade, but that it was 2 for no kills there for Mizzou. What we're trying to see here now as the Drake is spawning, we do have the lanes swapping yet again with Prefects and Inferno going out.
Oh, unfortunate. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow will land on the Sinta Momochi. And I think that might just be the claim, as unfortunately the Comeuppance will not find the kill, and he will sneak away.
Very, very well played there by Sento Momochi, being able to get out despite getting so much.
They're going to actually try to turn this back around. They're looking, trying to turn it around. Sento Momochi dashes away, and he will find the kill. Now, Kites might have been off a little bit more than he can chew, as the rest of GMU have collapsed. And we'll find the jungler for Mizzou. Kites falls. It's a 1-for-1. Hydroshi's still alive, still up. They might try to find this Hextech Dragon as Aurora in the top. Just pushing.
I think it's not terrible for Mizzou to just give this up since Kites is dead. They would be 2 for 2 objectives, meaning that the next one that spawns would be the one for the Feats of Monster Slaying.
Oh, gonna burn the realms between. We'll just get them to safety.
So I don't think it's too terrible for them to give up this Drake. Let Kites catch up on a little bit of farm. But you do have 2 very strong laners. Both of Varus and Akshan are very strong right now.
Prefects especially strong, sitting on 1.5 items. Ash still working in that first one. Cole got a bit of a way to go as well, so we're going to try to find a big play. It's into Momochi now. Going to get some damage. Has the hook going in. They're going to try to find this, but Silas is just a little bit too tanky.
Yeah, they have to be really careful there. They're not aware that there's 4 of their team all there ready to protect the Silas.
Yeah, they do just back away. 4 members there. Paranoia online as well for the Nocturne. Can get around the map very quickly.
Ooh, Inferno is
They've
walking
got to be
up.
careful. This is a blind bush that they're walking into, Inferno. They're looking. They're going to try to jump onto Prefects. The Quickening, the arrow will land onto the Recon. Prefects is still alive for the time being. They're trying to find Hydroshi. They will find it. Kites finds the first. Inferno still alive. Kites alive as well. Since the Momochi Dragon has been started, the arrow, the chains from the Silas will be able to find 2 in return. Prefects trying to kite this back, but Sinta Momochi is stuck in the middle of 3. Mizzou will lose 3, and they will also lose the Dragon.
A very unfortunate fight there, you know. It was very a great play by Inferno, I must say, getting the knock-up and charms down on all of those champions when they tried to go in onto Prefects. Unfortunately, Prefects did have to burn ult and flash to get away, ultimately not able to secure any kills for themselves. And Silas, in turn, turning that Verisalt back on them, really took them down. I think there was just so much good engage there, even if the Paranoia didn't secure the kill onto Prefects. They still got good CC with the Maokai ult And Silas using Verisalt made it really hard for Mizzou to do much there to stay alive.
Yeah, Ash now gets 2 big kills. Their Cole is about to finish as well. That gold lead that Mizzou had has shifted, and it is now about an even game.
I think now, like I said before, I don't think it was terrible for them to give up that dragon because it is now 2 for 2 on the feats of monster slaying. I think if they can just focus,
Ooh, Inferno unfortunately does not stop the hook shot.
they could give up this feat and just focus on securing a tower if they really wanted to. The mini-map is a little bit misleading with the little tower things. I think it shows up even with the turrets at half HP.
I do think the top turret is pretty low, though.
But yes, so I think, if they want, they could just give up this objective and focus on that and still secure the feats for themselves.
Mizzou has to be careful. There's 4 members waiting by this mid-brush. And I don't think they know. They will send the arrow. It will get some tags, and I think that's Mizzou's kind of information there that, hey, something's up.
We do have some pings going out. It looks like they are going to focus on this Herald.
Ooh, Momochi is going to get jumped on here. That's going to be the Hextech ultimatum. Stuck in the pit, and Venom will clean him up very quickly.
I mean, this Camille's looking really, really scary right now. Just so strong and really able to do pretty much whatever she wants right now, unless they can find a way to shut her down.
We're doing pretty well in the side lane. Despite the 0-1-0 scoreline, she is still very annoying, but very powerful nonetheless. So GMU will go ahead and claim their feat of monster slaying as Shelly has been collected.
Monster slayage. I don't think that is over for Mizzou. I think they can still, like I said, does look like they did get a turret? Or?
They did get the top turret as well, so that is going to be the feats of strength going over to the way of GMU.
Yes.
Game number 1.
So pretty unfortunate there. They did lose. Mizzou did lose the feats, but it's really not game over if you lose the feats. I forget what the exact win rate is when you secure the feats. I think it's much more important now that they ensure they secure Otacon to sort of balance out. If GMU does secure Otacon and the feats, it's going to be very hard, very much an uphill battle for Mizzou to still have a chance in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely not over. It is still possible. Otacon is definitely, we've seen it, been, at least for Mizzou's games we've seen on stream, kind of that like pivotal piece if they can get it.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But we've seen them struggle to kind of circle around it and collect it without kind of throwing their lead like that one game.
I think Otacon, people just don't realize how much damage it does and how tanky it is. You really can't just run at it like Baron and, risk the coin flip. If you start taking a ton of damage from Otacon, you can get slaughtered very quickly. Especially with a team like this having, a Maokai ult, a Nocturne ult, even Camille using that Hextech ultimatum. They can get completely wiped if they choose the wrong time to go after this Otacon.
Yeah, what Otacon do you think it's going to be? It's probably going to be Voracious.
Yeah, I would say it's probably Voracious at this point. But we'll have to wait and see. We've only got about a minute.
Maybe it's Ravenous. We've only seen Voracious on stream.
Yeah, it's typically a Voracious, but...
And this is before the patch, so it has not been nerfed yet.
Yes.
It is still incredibly strong even post-nerf, but it is even more powerful now.
Yes, especially that GA. It's really hard to, it's so good to just run at the enemy team, try to get an objective, try to get a tower or something while you have it up, and only give over 200 gold per kill, be able to withdraw. So definitely something to watch out for in the next few minutes.
Yeah, very strong. You can force that Baron, with all of your team having the GA. If you take a fight, maybe you get a few kills, maybe you lose more than you would expect, but you're all up in 5 seconds, and you can just run right back to the map, right back to the Baron to contest it again. It's such a strong buff that on paper having a GA doesn't seem like the strongest thing, but when everyone has it and it doesn't put you, revive you in a dangerous situation, it is very strong.
Yeah, getting the withdrawal back to base, even being able to buy items, all the gold you get, is just so strong.
Oh, absolutely. 2 items now on both of these 80 carries. It looks like Prefects is going for that lethality build, as we see the Knight's Edges. Unfortunately, that is going to be Kites' flash trying to run away. Here goes Inferno, taking down low but not falling. A nice stun to try to keep the team alive. Apex is trying to get some damage with the bunny hops. A nice arrow will get a little bit more chip damage, but Mizzou forcing out their flash, losing a lot of life, and now GMU straight on to the voracious Otacon.
Looks like Kites instead is going to focus on taking this dragon. I think, though, if they want to run in, especially Akshan, try to get a kill or two.
Apex is going to get taken low. They're going to burn the realms between. That will not get you out of the pit. And Apex is running, and gone.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate there. With GMU being so low, I think they could have gotten a kill or two, especially on Nocturne. But instead, choosing to eat this dragon. It's going to be really tough. I mean, they're only down 700 gold as of right now, but it's possible for GMU to get a ton here with this GA.
Yeah, what is the play? GMU, all their team has Guardian Angels. What's the play? What are you forcing? You can maybe run down mid.
Yeah, it looks like it might be a run down mid. I mean, the top wave is already pushing out. They could maybe look for the bot tower, but it's looking pretty healthy. There's no real objectives to focus on, so.
Yeah, bot tower is also kind of easy to take. It is just the outer.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst to take. You have a Camille with 2 items now. Very, very easily can take that turret without much of a problem. So you don't have to worry much. And she's 4-0. No one right now can really match the power of the Camille right now. I was talking about this earlier. This 4-1 right now with Nocturne kind of hovering around the Camille and the team. It's so dangerous that no one can really match this Camille.
Yeah, I think this might be a dive here.
Yeah, I think it is. That's going to be the paranoia. The flash away, Prefects is going to survive. Inferno's trying to keep the team alive. And a lot of damage out on the Silas, but they don't find it just yet. They're not able to send them back to the fountain. Sintomamochi trying to go in. The flash forward here from Hydra will send them back. Unfortunately, the Ashe is alive and free firing into the team. Kites in the back is able to send one back. Is trying to send this Ashe back as well. She will get a triple. She will get sent back. The TP now here coming back. And Kites is going to try to stay alive. Mizzou lose 3. No one dead for GMU, and they're going to go ahead and claim this tower. That is the power of voracious Otacon.
Yeah, they now go from only being 700 gold up to nearly 4,000 gold, all by taking 2 towers. It's going to be even more. I mean, taking 2 towers here mid, getting 3 kills. Their 80 carries now 5-1.
I think Venom might just be able to take this turret. Maybe overextended as they jump in onto Apex, but I mean, who cares? You've got voracious Otacon. Even if you die, you get set right on back.
I think the really an important thing about voracious Otacon like that is that you have to consider that they're going to engage on you, and all you need to focus on is disengaging. If you in turn engage on them, that's how you risk your teammates and lose so much gold. I think it would have been way smarter for Mizzou there to just back up. You know, your 80 carries out, your supports out, just get away. And, you know, you maybe only lose 1 tower there instead of 2 and 3 kills.
Yeah, they had a really good disengage, preflex, a really good cleanse, a really good flash to get away from the Nocturne.
Use the sums perfectly, use their ults perfectly as well.
Absolutely. Inferno and Preflex did a very good job surviving that engage. There was a lot. We saw the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. There was the Nocturne, Paranoia. There was Nature's Grasp. There's a lot going out. And they managed to get away, and Mizzou just thought they could really turn it around, but with voracious Otacon, you really can't. You get this, sure, you get a couple GAs off of GMU, but
it's just not worth it.
There's just so much that they get off of it anyway.
You know, originally when they had just burned all those ults and Prefects had just gotten away, I thought it was still, you know, pretty even. All they lose is a tower and a couple sums they need to carry.
Oh, Prefects, unfortunately, is going to get put into the baby cage and is going to die. Venom is now unstoppable. Kites next up to the chopping block. 4 members here, and that shield only keeps you alive for so long.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, we had a couple unfortunate things happen there, but, you know, we do have 2 big objectives spawning here in a few seconds.
Apex running back in the invisibility, trying to stay alive. Sintomamochi going to try to turn onto Attack Helicopter, who is eating the turret. Sintomamochi will go ahead and revive Kites as well. Now, in the pit, Apex is trying to stay alive. That is a lot of damage from a Camille. Kite's back now. Comeuppance going to be used here. Going to get some damage onto the Maokai. Not too much. Inferno getting low. Going to have to back away. Kite's still plenty of HP. Inferno going back in. Prefects back up. The Glacial Prison will not land. Oh, they're going to be turned here with the Quickening here on the Silas. And Mizzou is falling. Double kill onto Venom. There
That was a
goes.
beautiful play there by the Silas, using the flash and recon all to secure all of that CC on Mizzou's team.
There goes Mizzou. Momochi, the last one alive. He will get stunned. He will get knocked up, and he will fall. GMU will get an ace. They will get the towers, and surely they will get the game. Maybe Camille does die, and they don't really have a wave. Aurora has spawned. Everyone's too low.
Yeah, this is something we haven't really seen come to fruition before, but you do have to consider that Nexus turrets respawn now. And, it could be a thing where if Mizzou plays this correctly with both Baron and Dragon coming up here soon, that maybe they could still be in this game despite losing an inhib and a Nexus turret.
I think that Nexus turrets respawning is a really, really good change. I really like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where you fight back at that last minute. You win a big team fight, you lose your whole base, but you have Nexus open, you have inhibitors open, and it doesn't matter that you won that fight and got a bunch of gold. You're just sitting in your base kind of waiting for the other team to kind of run down and destroy your Nexus because it's so open. Having the turrets regen gives you that out if you're able to fight back like Mizzou has.
This looks pretty dangerous here. We do have Camille TP going out, but she will be
they
going
do
in
know
level
the
5.
arrow, the Chains of Corruptions from Prefects is just a little bit short. They tried to turn.
There, Mizzou all walking
Venom.
back means GMU get this dragon basically for free.
Yeah, I don't think it matters the most. It is only the second Drake. No one here is collecting soul just yet. I think Mizzou knows that they're trying to wait for some big item spikes. Prefects is close to hitting that third item. In fact, just hit it. Soroma's Edge now online. So they're waiting for some of these spikes before fighting, which I think is good. You want to get as strong as possible before this next fight because it could be your last.
Yeah, GMU's looking so strong right now. They're 8,000 gold up, nearly 9.
Oh, kites. Oh, the lights are out. The arrow will land. They're trying to just burn it down. Back in the back, Apex will go, but locked in the baby cage. Apex will fall. Trying to turn, they will go ahead and claim the Nocturne. That is a big flash. Venom is just on the back line. Mizzou is dead. Kite's the last member flashing away. But honestly, it's not much help as a quadra kill goes over to the way of Venom. And GMU walk down and claim the base.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we brought up in draft. This Camille is just so strong, so far ahead, 13-1. She's really a force to be reckoned with, and I think that is going to be game going over to GMU.
George Mason University starting strong. One thing that Mizzou does not have to worry about is they never have to see that Camille again.
That is true, yes.
It is Fearless Draft. It is going to be essentially banned for the side of GMU for the rest of the series, so they don't even have to burn a ban on it, which feels nice, but they had a good start. They had some leads. They had some early kills. But that Camille, I said it's going to be a problem in the side lane, and then it was. There were a lot of good flanks. It got on the prefects, and there's just not a lot that he could really do. It was just really one Q, and he was dead.
Yeah, a lot of things to think about going here into Game 2 for Mizzou. I'm sure they're going to have a good chat and review after this game with some new insights looking into Game 2. It'll be interesting to see what they draft. Like we said, it's Fearless Draft, so we're not going to see any of those champions play it again by those teams. But yeah, should be really interesting. We do have a Game 2 for sure.
Yes, we do have a Game 2, so don't go anywhere. Mizzou versus GMU, Game 2, up in just a few. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you then. welcome back to Mizzou Esports. Mizzou definitely need to change their game plan after that game one. We saw them struggle quite a bit, especially once that Camille started to get very fed, but it's
Yeah.
fearless, so they don't have to worry about that. Again,
Yes.
they are also on to draft. One issue is that they were having some problems with the drafting client, so we were using a different one, so it will not show up the fearless draft bands. They are just implied Mizzou, once again, on the blue side. Their fearless ones are Aurora, Sejuani, Akshan, Varus, and the Rakan.
Mm-hmm.
GMU has the Ashe, the Maokai,
Camille.
the Nocturne, Camille, and in the mid lane it was the
Silas.
Silas.
Yeah, so all those champions cannot be played again. Additionally, they did Handshake ban the Syndra, so we're not going to see the Syndra ban again, but just know it is off the table for both teams.
Yes, looking at bans, it is identical here for Mizzou, Seraphine, Yone, and the Belveth. Very strong champions that all of GMU play, so they're just taking those off the table for them before it even begins. GMU, they're going to keep the two early bans the same, but they are going to mix it up with the Misfortune.
Yeah, definitely not a bad ban. Misfortune's still very strong right now, not getting nerfed until next patch. And it is a champion that John, Prefects or ADC, plays a lot in solo queue. Mizzou is going to go ahead and first pick the Jinx, another very, very strong champ that Prefects plays a lot, so definitely a good pick there. And GMU responds with a Kaisa and Zac. Do we think that's a Zac jungle?
I think it could be a Zac jungle. I know that there's been some flexing of Zac around different lanes, but
Yeah,
seeing it this early, I probably am expecting that to be in the jungle,
yeah.
especially when I see a Kaisa. It just has a lot of engage. And Bessa here for GMU. I think this is one of the first times we're actually seeing Ambessa picked up here
Yeah.
for a stream.
Yeah, another very strong champ. You know, she was released in the last year, so exceptionally strong. As well as the arcane buffs still, of course. But you know, also a champ I'm sure their top laner is fairly comfortable on since they're used to playing a lot of those more bruisey champs like the Camille. So interesting to see how that is played. Mizzou also picks up the Viego and the Ziggs.
Yeah, Viego going to be going to kites in the jungle. A lot different compared to Sejuani. Not this big beefy tank that engages. More playing around those skirmishes, those 2v2, 3v3s, and looking for those resets and fights. Much more carry oriented in jungle rather than that supportive style. With that comes its pros and cons. You can carry very hard. You can get those resets. You can be a big problem. If you fall behind, you can become kind of useless as
Yeah.
you're not even a tank.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Viego's not a bad pick, and a really strong champion right now. It's all on the kites to play it properly and well, though. The Ziggs, though, is something that Sentoba Mochi plays a decent amount and is a fairly strong AP damage mid laner. Makes me think that we're probably not going to pick the Aurora again for their top lane. So hopefully Apex has a good counter for the Ambessa. As well as bans here, we do have Poppy and Renekton banned by GMU, and Nautilus and Galio banned by Mizzou.
Yeah, Nautilus and Galio, just good bans. Again, Galio played by the mid laner quite a bit. Zac plus Galio, again, kind of similar to Nocturne plus Galio. Just really good long range engage. You just follow the Zac once he lands. It's kind of point and click, very easy. GMU, though, they see that Mizzou is playing the Jace or the Ziggs, and they're going to respond with a Jace. So very, very heavy here from GMU. Makes me think that maybe Zac goes into that support position and they
Yeah.
look for a very heavy AP jungler.
Yeah, maybe. It's really interesting. The Jace, is it going to be a tank Jace or is that nerfed already? So we're interested to see how he ends up playing that. And Mizzou picking the Ornn, a very strong champion that
My
Apex
favorite.
plays a lot. Yeah, first favorite. I'll let you speak on that. But not a bad pick there. And then Tom Kench.
Yeah, so the Mizzou, lacking with the tank in that jungle department, they make up for it with a big beefy tank Ornn in the top lane, and then Tom Kench as well. We've seen Inferno playing Tom Kench. We've seen him get fed on Tom
Oh,
Kench
yeah.
support and be incredibly tanky.
Yeah.
Surprisingly on the Catfish for a support character. It also is just good support here for the Jinx.
Oh yeah.
Jinx,
I mean,
a mobile carry.
Jinx Tom Kench is so strong.
A lot of potential danger that she has to deal with. Zac, Ambessa, Kaisa can dive in as well.
Oh yeah.
Jace as well, Rel. A lot of GMU has this ability to get on top of her very quickly and very easily, and Tom Kench just gives her an out that is very, very easy to do.
Yeah, I think it's similar to the Rakan, but a bit more tanky and can directly get his AD carry out of danger. So not bad there at all. We do have the Rel Kaisa bot lane, a very strong bot lane. It'll be interesting to see, how this lane matchup goes. I feel like Mizzou can get really, really strong really early before Kaisa hits that power spike with her or her morphing abilities going on there. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this bot lane goes and if Jinx can get ahead early or not.
Yeah, even then, Mizzou's scaling is really good.
Oh
Jinx,
yeah.
one of those really good scaling AD carries, has really long range. The resets and fights can go crazy. Ziggs scales pretty well. He has a lot of long range and poke, a lot of zone control, which is powerful in those Baron dances.
Yeah.
Ornn, I love Ornn.
Yes.
I've said it enough. He's the Bruiser Tank, Burst Assassin,
But
Mage,
he
Gunslinger,
can.
Wizard, Warlock, Druid, Shaman, all of that.
Yeah.
Has those long range engages to help start out fights with the Ornhorn. Becomes a really big, beefy character as the game
Hmm.
progresses. Does a lot of damage, and also those ornaments online for
Right.
Jinx and Ziggs are really, really powerful.
I think it's the biggest thing is that he can help his whole team get
Yes,
stronger.
absolutely.
So yeah, I think honestly, maybe I'm biased, but I really like Mizzou's draft so far. I think it's a bit better than last game for sure.
I agree. Another thing, GMU, except for Kaisa, which is
Mm.
hyper damage, GMU is all AD damage.
Yeah, not really.
Mbessa, Jace, heavy AP. Zac can go AP-esque with like a Leandries or something,
Yeah.
but is going to be mostly going that tank build, and then Rel is the support. You're really banking on Kaisa going an AP build
Yeah.
for your AP, and Mizzou have Ornn and Tom Kench,
Yeah.
which are these two massive, big, beefy frontliners that are just going to get bigger and bigger as the
Yes.
game goes on.
I think it's just so easy for Mizzou to just build armor and then nobody can take them down.
Yeah, Mizzou, they are going to hit a break point eventually as the game goes on, whether GMU is ahead or not. If Mizzou hits that break point and is just tanky enough, GMU aren't going to be able to get through the front line fast enough and to get onto the Jinx and the Ziggs. And Jinx and Ziggs are just going to be able to slowly whittle away at the front line
Yeah.
of GMU. Jinx gets a reset, and the fight is over.
Yeah, definitely. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But yeah, personally, I do really like Mizzou's draft this game.
Yeah, I like Mizzou's draft a lot more than last game, but we're going to have to wait and see. We are in the drafting phase right now, but once we get past that, we are going to go ahead and get into the spectator delay. So don't go anywhere. Mizzou trying to fight back here versus GMU in Game 2. Will they do it? Will we see Game 3? We'll have to wait and see. Don't go anywhere. Mizzou versus GMU. Game 2, up in a few. Welcome back, everybody. We are on the Rift for game number 2. Mizzou, the 5-stack here in this top river brush, but unfortunately for them, GMU has done a standard 5-point across the map.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here if they decide to start walking into the jungle as 5, or if they're just going to go their separate ways, not do anything interesting. So far here, it is interesting. It looks like both bot lanes have chose some more aggressive summoner spells. We have Barrier on both ADCs and Ignite on both supports, while both mid and top laners have the TP.
Yeah, so no Ignite on Sentinel Mochi in the mid lane. Thing to note is it might be that tank Jace, like you were talking about with the grasp.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I assume if they're playing it, it hasn't been nerfed yet, but it has been a pretty popular build lately and a bit strong as well. So hopefully that's a bit more tankiness for GMU's team. But unfortunately, they're still not going to get that AP damage like we talked about, as Kaisa at least seems to be going mostly AD with the Lethal Tempo rune. Definitely not a full AP build.
Yeah, definitely not full AP. We might see a little bit of a mix as Sentinel Mochi is going to get hopped on here, but yeah, there's not too much damage.
It's generally always viable to build Nashor's Tooth, at least for that attack speed as well as the AP damage. But other than that, I doubt.
Maybe like a Zanya's later on as well.
Yeah.
But like we're not going to probably see like a death cap or anything crazy.
Yeah, I have seen some interesting Kaisa builds lately that prioritize more AP items later. Like you build probably like a static Shiv followed by maybe an Infinity Edge and then like all AP items, but she's kind of been in a weird spot lately with her builds, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Both junglers here starting their top sides and pathing downwards towards the bot lane. Definitely going to be one of the lanes preferably to hit for both of these. Mid lane, it is a Jace and it's pretty gankable. However, for Sentinel Mochi, probably not the most important one to hit, as gets him low, but Jace is trying to turn it around with the attack speed.
Yeah, I feel like that can't be a very fun lane for Jace. You just get poked out so easily by the Ziggs. So I'm interested to see maybe he can get tanky enough that it doesn't matter later. But at least early on, it's going to be pretty hard for him to do much.
Oh, Apex on the Ornn. We've seen him play it before. Very strong, forcing that early flash from Mbessa.
Just such a good pick on Apex, something he's very, very comfortable on, and just such a strong champ as well. I think this is something great to see for Mizzou.
Definitely something very, very good to see for Mizzou. Sentinel Mochi doing pretty well, controlling the Jace in the mid lane, keeping them low. Junglers towards the bot side. Kite's currently first to Crab, and has started that up.
Maybe a look for Zac bot lane.
Ooh, I don't know if Apex actually wins this fight. It's pretty low. It looks like Kites is going to potentially get the double Crab. Going to try to make his way up towards Apex to try to help out his teammate. We love Mbessa having a dash on every ability.
Yeah, I don't
2024 champion design.
Yeah, I don't think it's too terrible for Kites to be moving topside if Mbessa does decide to go back in. And securing both Crabs is pretty great here, as there is just under a minute for both objectives, I think.
Yeah, both objectives not up here. Dragon up in about 35. Grub's still got a little bit of time. Apex. Yeah, that's Ornn.
Yeah,
I want to see Renekton do something like that.
Setting up a good combo there off the TP from Mbessa back to lane. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see. He is down a little bit of CS, but nothing too unmanageable yet.
Ooh, looking for another play. There is a couple members of GMU on their way up here. The Zac gonna slingshot in. Apex has flash to get away. A good flash will dodge out on the sticky hands, but unfortunately with Jace being up here, I'm sure that Ornn is dead. As meanwhile in the bot lane, Prefect's forced to flash away. Still has barrier, the Ignite taking away, the flash forward. That's gonna be the barrier, that's gonna keep him alive. Attack Helicopter can't get that final shot. So Apex lives with just a sliver.
You know, I was going to say it might be the move here for Mizzou to start setting up for Dragon, but unfortunately bot lane is forced to base here. Despite their pressure and advantage mid lane, Ziggs being up a bit of CS, it's still going to be hard for them to convert that kill on Apex top lane into any definitive objectives.
Zach, though, looking mid here, is going to be able to get that smash. Does get the pullbacks into Momochi. Has the Mega Inferno Bomb. Good sidestep. Going to throw that out. It's going to get damage, but it's not going to be able to finish that. Sends the bomb out, but it will get blocked.
So close there. It's securing a kill onto the Jace, but you know, if nothing else, he's forced them both to back off with Dragon up. I think this should be a free secure on the Drake for Kites, which is definitely not something you'd like to see. Not to mention Satomochi up maybe 20 CS if this wave fully crashes before Jace can get there.
Yeah, so pretty good here for the mid lane. Satomochi doing well to survive. Inferno gonna clear some vision. Mizzou claims the Hextech Dragon. Get that first of 3.
And
Grubs
Zach is clearing his bot side, so
yeah. Grub's not on the table yet
Yeah.
either, so pretty good start here for Mizzou. I think the main reason that Prefects and Inferno really got chipped down and almost died was Kaisa Attack Helicopter did get a reset, so she was sitting on a pickaxe where
yeah.
Prefects had not recalled at that moment. So a big, item advantage there for Kaisa allowed them to just at that point fight 2v2 and just have more damage at the time.
Yeah, that's another thing that's pretty awkward for ADC right now. You know, it used to be you always base to buy Noon Quiver or something like that, but now it's pretty tricky to time your backs appropriately to make sure you can still be ahead in lane.
Oh, Satomochi has to be careful. Has the satchel, does get away, and a good sidestep there of the blast.
I think GMU's playing really interestingly so far.
Oh, they're trying to get this Kaisa, and they will do a lot of damage. Grubs will go ahead and get claimed all 3 over to the way of GMU once again. So it is a trade of neutrals in the end.
Yeah.
As Kite's in the bot lane, looking for play, looking for a lane gank, but resets.
But I think the GMU has been playing really interestingly so far, moving together a lot, setting up ganks with 3 team members in a lot of these lanes is something that's pretty interesting, and I feel like as the game progresses, they're going to continue moving together across the map, and that's definitely something Mizzou has to look out for.
Yeah, I agree. Items starting to come online here for a couple of these members. Level 6 spikes here as well. Junglers both level 6 bot lane. Just Prefects, the only one not level 6 on the map yet. Actually, Psyduck is also not level 6 yet. So some power spikes coming in at this current moment as Psyduck is going to get tagged. Is going to stun Inferno.
Tom Crunch is just so tanky. He tanks multiple tower shots and it does not matter.
Into Momochi, a good blast pack, but is unfortunately going to get pulled back in. The flash.
Oh.
Kite's trying to get the kill, and he will go ahead and claim it with the Heart Stealer. Inferno getting it low, will not get stopped. Now Prefects, the one under fire, burns the barrier, trying to find Psyduck. They have the shield. They will find it, but fall right on after.
It does unfortunately give over the feat of warfare to GMU in the process. This means Mizzou now really has to target the feat of monster slaying and first tower in order to secure those feats.
Yeah, they really need to find those. It was good that Prefects was able to claim 1 back in mid lane. Kite's able to find 1 back as well.
Unfortunately, since he didn't have flash, it was pretty doomed there that he was going to go down. So definitely good for him to secure a kill in the process.
Ooh, wait, that's actually going to force a flash because Venom was stuck under turret.
Ooh,
Needs another
gosh.
tower shot, but just out of mana at the wrong time.
Yeah, you know, his top lane state is a little awkward. You know, Orin is down quite a bit of CS, but it's hard to say yet. I don't think the lane's totally over from him. Thankfully, has TP able to get back and catch that wave.
Yeah, we'll catch the wave. Is down a little bit of CS. Venom has picked up the Eclipse. So it does have that item advantage. Apex still working on towards the Sunfire. Zach hovering bot lane. Game state kind of slowing down. GMU does have about a 600 gold lead, but it's still pretty early.
Yeah, I think it'll still be, like we said, Mizzou really has to prioritize getting these feats now that they've lost feats of warfare. I think though, if Jinx can get strong enough, that's definitely an option. Not to mention kill secures from Ziggs with all that poke damage. But it's really securing those objectives and setting up properly for them that matters the most right now.
Yes, agree. Apex. This is the part where it kind of feels bad once that Eclipse gets finished for the Ambessa. It turns very quickly over to Ambessa favored lane until later on, where Ornn can kind of just survive the damage. Right now, this is going to be a problem, but they're going to send the Ornn Horn. They're going to get the knockup. Kites is over here as well. The stuns are so good. Kites, unfortunately, does not land the stun. Venom is going to try to turn it around with the ultimate. They're trying to find something. Now the TP's coming up here, but the Heartbreaker will go ahead and find Ambessa. The teleport here from Jace is a little bit late, and it won't find much.
I think if they play this correctly and Sentomo Mochi can move up, this should be a free grub secure for Mizzou. We'll have to see, though. Doesn't look like they're going to move up. I really think they can't give over all 6 of these grubs for nothing.
Now they're looking onto the Jace. There's no flash online. Gonna try to jump onto the Ziggs, but a good satchel pushes him back into the team. Momochi claims it, and Ambessa TP is late, but there is no jungle by the grubs, and GMU is jumping on the opportunity to start it and in fact claim it. So GMU, all 6 grubs.
This is going to make it exponentially harder for Mizzou to secure that first tower that they desperately need. Not to mention they're going to need to get this next Drake for sure. Otherwise, they're going to give over the feats of monster slaying right now.
Momochi, though, on the Ziggs, very good at pushing those early towers, especially with the satchel, if they can get it low enough. Mizzou onto this dragon if they can claim it, which it looks like they will, as Hydroshi nowhere nearby. Mizzou will claim the second dragon. That's going to put them halfway to Seoul, and it's going to be that mountain.
So it'll be interesting to see here, because I think Herald and Drake should be spawning close to the same time. I think Mizzou has to be very careful about which they select to prioritize, because they could inadvertently end up giving up those feats of warfare.
Yeah, I think so too. It could be scary. Feats of warfare, it's not the end-all be-all, but I mean, just free, level 3 boots is pretty nice to have across the board.
I think it's just so strong for a lot of these scaling champions to get a little bit of a buff even earlier. That's something that they really don't want to give up. Not to mention losing so many towers early was so difficult for them last game. So I'm granted they have a much better scaling comp this game, but hopefully Mizzou can keep all that in mind going forward.
Hopefully they can. Rel has made her way up towards the top side. Kites has to be careful, as there are 3 members going to be waiting here for this crab, and he's about to walk right into it, and the flash away, the Heartbreaker to try to stay alive. The Ignite comes out as well. In goes the Zac under the turret. They will finally find the shutdown, and Zac will walk on out of there too.
I think it's very unfortunate, but there's not much you can do there other than having Sweeper up. But even then, they're sitting on a control ward. So, pretty difficult to...
Oh, Inferno is going to go ahead and gobble on up that Kaisa. Pushes her into the traps. The Super Mega Death Rocket finds the kill, and now Wild Psyduck is going to try to get on out of there. Prefect's doing well. Might be able to claim this first tower here. And they're going to really, really try to push this down and claim this first brick to get that feat of strength.
It should be free for them for sure. So yeah, now they're just looking to get either one more Drake or this Rift Herald to secure the feats for themselves. I feel like we can expect a pretty bloody fight here if they can pay attention and have good vision across the map.
Yeah, I agree. Very close. Mizzou does have a nice gold lead, 2,000 right now. If they can find this next objective, this next neutral, they will go ahead and claim themselves those feats of strength and be in a very good position for when Atacon spawns.
Yeah, I think so far, though, does look like the 80 carry is going to move mid lane from Mizzou's side and possibly get that tower as well if they can get this wave pushed properly as Jace is in base and Kaisa is bot. There is a Rel there to do a little bit of defending, but she certainly doesn't have the wave clear.
Yeah, definitely not yet. Still has Static Shiv, has a Cole as well, so also going for that scaling long con here. Really good pick there by Inferno to find out that Kaisa, uses the, gobbles her up, spits her out right into the traps, and it's a really, really free kill.
Yeah, I think so far in both these games, Mizzou's bot lane has done a good job of synergizing and making good picks and plays together. So hopefully they can keep that up. And I think it's really smart for this Tom Kench to stay so close to his Jinx and just keep her alive. But yeah, it looks like maybe they're going to be looking for a play over this Herald as you have the bot lane and jungle there, but both top laners are backing off.
And both top laners are backing off. They both have TP. Bot laners both have TP. A lot of summoners. Prefects is going to get flashed on. There's going to be the TP. They do get the Devour. So Prefects is alive. Going to try to keep them alive as well. Apex now into the back of the fight. Fortunately, Inferno will find one. Kites now is going to become... Kaisa is alive. Jace down very low. Apex in the middle of all of them doing a ton of damage. Venom is trying to get some damage out. Jinx will fall. They will find the shutdown onto the Zac Blobs. They will go ahead and find Psyduck as well. Mizzou, 4 for 1. They might even look for Venom as well. No, they're going to turn their sights onto the Herald.
I think they just back up and go for this objective, secure the feats. I mean, that was such a crazy fight there. You know, it looked really dangerous for Mizzou's bot lane being pushed up with no vision there. But they did a good job having their whole team moving and helping them there. To both keep their AD carry alive for as long as they could.
They might have been off, though. Venom is pretty healthy here. They have Smite. They might just have to back off here. Herald hasn't reset. Kite's now going in. He will get shut down, though. And with that, Mizzou is going to try to turn it around. Kaisa is going to flash over. They will go ahead and claim the Herald. Kaisa forced the flash over the wall. Inferno now looking for something, as that's going to be the engage here from Rel, trying to find something. Zac in the mix now too. Jace trying to get some damage. The flash forward gets the slam, the knock up, the Mega Inferno Bomb. Prefects is free firing, has the resets. Jace on the backline looking for Prefects, gets stunned in the chompers, and they'll find another. Double kill over to Prefects. Mizzou claimed the feats of strength. They walk away with Herald, and now they're looking at this Soul Point Dragon.
That was such a great play there for Mizzou. I mean, I think it looked really scary there with the Ambessa walking up, and Kites did fall, but unfortunately, GMU's jungler just wasn't in position to then walk up and use his smite to secure that, which meant Mizzou could just do a ton of damage to the Rift Herald and secure it themselves, forcing Kaisa to flash for the wall, plus Ambessa was so low already from walking in that she couldn't do anything in the fight, but they were able to really turn it in their favor. Now they have a ton of shutdown gold on their heads. Everybody seems to be ahead. The whole team is up 5,000 gold, and they're now securing both the Drake, Feats of Warfare, and the Rift Herald in just a few minutes.
Yeah, objective bounties now online for GMU as they have fallen below the 5,000 gold threshold. Mizzou going to be able to push down this mid lane as well, as they've claimed that outer tower. Really good positioning right now. They're even going to push farther. This is a Ziggs. That's a Satchel, and that's a dead inner turret. So GMU just watches as they clear the jungle. Kites will unfortunately not claim the blue buff. They're going to look. Hydroshi gonna find some stuff. The Ornhorn is gonna get a good knock up there onto Ambessa. Inferno about to gobble her up. She gets the Devour, and Venom is in the back line. A nice satchel from Sinto Emoji pushes her back into the team. And Mizzou will go ahead and claim the top laner. Very, very good fights. Mizzou is finding these picks. GMU is overplaying their hand. They just don't have the damage right now. Jace is building tank. Venom is just a little too far behind. Same with Attack Helicopter. They just can't get through this Ornn or the Tom Kench right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about. All Mizzou's tanks have to do is build armor, and there's pretty much nothing that GMU's team can break through to do damage to them with. I think that these 5v5 team fights are just going so well in Mizzou's favor. I think they just picked a really good comp this game. And are playing really well so far.
Another turret claimed here for Sinto Momochi with the satchel. All the outers are gone. Mizzou is pushing on and pushing forward with their gold lead. Voracious Attican has spawned up towards that top side. See if Mizzou can claim this. They've struggled with getting this big objective in the past. They've had leads and then unfortunately lost them from unfortunate timing. Atacon, you can't really just start it like Bailey said. It's such a dangerous objective. You have to play around it so carefully.
Yeah, I think Mizzou needs to play really carefully here. I think they need to look for a pick. Maybe this Mbessa will push up a little too far, and they could collapse on her a little bit. Maybe they can just get really good mid lane push. Unfortunately, Sentomochi just have to stay in the bot lane to match that Jace for right now. But yeah, I feel like them walking up and just starting it right now is just a little too risky, unless GMU decides to just let
They
them
are
take
just
it.
going to start it. Jace down in the bot lane. Zig's down there too. They don't have vision right now. Prefect is pretty strong. They know now with the blue ward down to 7,000 HP. Hydroshi on the Zac. It's very easy to get in and try to steal this. Wild Paycheck is here, down to 3,000. The flash forward with the Magnet Storm. Prefect is trying to stay alive. Thornhorn down to 2,000. To attack Helicopter on Prefects in the back. A nice Devourer trying to keep Jinx alive, and that they will. Unfortunately for Mizzou, it goes over to the way of GMU. They do not get the Voracious Atacon buff. One will be sent back to the base. Apex going in again with the knockup. The Mega Inferno Bomb is going to try to get some damage. Prefects firing away in the backline. Burns the barrier. Still alive under the tower. They've got some backup. Prefects is still alive.
Okay, I think it definitely could have been a lot worse. The only one they lost there was Kites. Unfortunately, he was just nowhere near Otacon to secure it during that fight.
Oh,
One's just taken
unfortunately, I think Ziggs died to the minions.
Oh,
They will claim 2.
okay, so that is 2. But, you know, could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
They
I
kept
think
top tower up.
I think all Otacon buffs are gone. I don't believe
Rel still has one. That is it.
Rel is the only one who has.
They also blew the Zac. What is his?
The bloblings,
yes.
little blobs.
The Bloblings at the
Inferno is
same
a
time.
support, by the way.
Yeah, Tom Kench is really weak champion for sure. So it definitely could have been worse. It's good that they blew all of that early and didn't lose too much, but GMU did close that gold lead a little bit, only down 2,000 gold now.
Yeah, that's the power of Atacon. If you get it, it's such a huge spike. Mizzou don't get it. They lose the fight. They get no gold off of it.
Yeah.
They lose the big objective. There's a lot of shutdowns that GMU get. They get the neutral objective bounties, or the objective bounties as well.
I mean, this
and
is
it really brings them back into the game just like
Yeah.
that.
This is a problem we've seen Mizzou have a lot lately, and I think it's something they really need to rethink how they focus in the future games. Like we were talking about before the fight, them walking up and just taking it is so risky.
Wild Psyduck is out of position. I think Kites could have gone on that. Maybe have claimed that final Atacon buff.
This could be
Soul.
Soul for them here.
This could be.
I think they shred it really quickly, and Zac is a little far
Mochi
away.
just needs to be playing the zone control with the minefields, with the damage, with the range. They're going to just turn and burn onto Mochi,
That is
which is
Mountain
fine
Soul.
because Mizzou have claimed the soul. And now they're going to go onto Wild Psyduck. They will go ahead and claim that. They will recall back to base. Venom in the backline. Inferno will go ahead and save Mochi. Kites will go ahead and get one. Going to try to reset as they are now Mbessa looking for the backline. Prefects go on a killing spree. Attack Helicopter, force the flash. Kites follows as well. The tongue lick from Inferno will go ahead and claim Kaisa as she tries to dash to safety. Mizzou claim the dragon. They claim 3, technically 4, but one of them is
Withdrawn.
the withdrawal from Wild Psyduck, and they're going to try to look down this base.
Yeah, I think here, you know, Baron's not up for 45 seconds. There's really not much else to do. You still have a lot of respawn timers up. They could definitely get in here.
They claim it. My question is, do you keep pushing?
I don't
You
think
have
so.
Ziggs, you have a wave.
I think
They're
it's a little
not.
too risky.
I do think it is a little risky looking at death timers. Mbessa up. Jace is about to spawn. Kaisa's up. You've got a lot of money to
Still
spend.
very strong, unfortunately. Even though GMU as a team is a bit behind. Ooh, we do get a stopped recall onto Apex there, but not much else out of it. But yeah, do you think they're all going to rush to Baron now that they know Mizzou has backed off, get a bit of vision? Mizzou in turn looks like they're going to get about a bit of a mid lane push to help with securing that objective. But somebody's got to go match that Mbessa bot lane, and it looks like it will be the Ornn.
Yeah, probably the right person. He does have TP. Inferno has to be careful as there are 4 members sitting in that brush.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here.
Oh no,
it
it's the
is-
scuttle.
It is just 4v4. I think they're gonna give up the scuttle, unfortunately.
They are. Inferno's going to look for the support here.
But that does make it a 3v4 here if Zach is behind.
Zach is behind. The Mega Inferno Bomb will get some damage out. That's going to force the flash out of Wild Psyduck.
I think this is great sort of zoning for Mizzou here, forcing everyone to back off. Zach even and Rel are both facing. They might be able to secure this Baron, although it's similar to Otacon, it's a bit risky. They do have a lot of damage.
They are going to start it. Apex is not here. Baron has been started. We're going to unfortunately watch down here, down to 8,000 HP. They know as the blast will go through. Inferno, I like this, just trying to stall, just trying to be a nuisance in the backline. Keep away, and with that Devour, that's surely a claimed Baron. Inferno, I think, will fall for the team, but it might be worth it.
Inferno, a valiant sacrifice there. Eating the Zach was the perfect thing to do to make sure they secure that objective. And I have to say, too, keeping the Mbessa occupied bot lane by Apex, you know, sort of an unsung hero here in this fight, but really, really great positioning and strategy by Mizzou, able to secure that Baron. And maybe they could even get a strong push bot lane here, as Mbessa's not there to match Apex anymore. They already have the mid inhib.
Mochi can jump away, gonna be forced to flash as well. Attack helicopter is looking. Prefect is gonna go ahead and find one. That's gonna be the resets. Jinx, get excited. There is the blobs out on the ground, and Prefect is gonna claim that next. A nice knock up. The Ornhorn now coming down from downtown is gonna go ahead and knock up that Jace. As once again, it may be a tank Jace, but you're not tanky enough. Double kill goes over to the way of Apex. Mizzou claim 4 with Baron. And I think they're going to start trying to look for the end as they have supers down that mid lane.
That Jinx damage was just crazy there. I mean, we talked about this a bit, but with the Yuntal buffs, she's just so strong. Not to mention the ornament upgraded Infinity Edge. You probably know the name.
Molten Edge.
Molten Edge there. Just getting so much damage off, even though they lost into Momochi. They got 4 members down in their team. There should be a free push here. Definitely securing this tower. Might be tough to get inhib though.
Might be tough to get inhib. They are going to go ahead and claim 2 towers. That's just more gold for Mizzou. Almost up to 10,000. Gold lead. And next objective is going to be Elder. That's going to be the fight of the game.
Yes, I think, you know, Mizzou so far has had great 5v5 team fights. Maybe a bit of a bush cheese here though.
I actually like this if someone walks into it. It's not going to lead directly into the dragon, but it will put a dent in the ability to get vision before this dragon, and it's going to be on Psyduck as well. Claimed very quickly, and they'll get the scuttle. They'll get the scuttle.
Kill to get from the support that really limits JMU's ability to get any vision on this objective. As she'll be spawning about 30 seconds before the Drake spawns. So it'll be pretty hard for her to get in range, to get that necessary vision down.
And Mizzou, they're going to clear all this vision. They're going to start heading up towards this top side. I don't like this as much, knowing that Dragon, the big pivotal piece right now, is spawning in 40.
I mean, I think they don't necessarily need it to win the game, though, and they want to use this Baron buff before it
That's true. In the back line, Prefect is going to get tagged. A good flash over the wall, though, and they're going to rain down rockets. Kites is unfortunately caught out, though, and he will fall. Prefect's getting HP, raining rockets still. Jace going to get low, not down just yet, has the shield. In goes the Rel, in goes the Magnet Storm. Mizzou has unfortunately thrown their lead, as Inferno, the last one up in this top lane, will get a kill.
But they still get that bot inhib. I think the problem, though, is whether or not they are just going to be giving up this Elder Dragon. Can GMU take it before Kites respawns in 15 seconds and makes it there?
I think they can. They're gonna certainly try. Teleport in. Kites.
Unfortunately, their AD carry is dead.
In 5.
They really only have damage from Mbessa.
They do have damage from Mbessa. Apex is here. There is a smite available. Apex just needs to try to stall, and I don't think he can. So
yeah,
Mizzou overplay their hand. GMU are going to stall the game out for just a little bit longer with the Elder Dragon. You cannot fight no matter how big of a gold lead you have with Elder Dragon online.
And, you know, I mean, that gold lead is narrowed quite a bit, only 3,000 now, compared to, what was the peak before?
I think it was almost 10,000.
Almost 10,000. So they have lost quite a bit. Mizzou just needs to bide their time, wait for this Elder Dragon to run out. It looks like Kaisa did not get it though. She did not respawn in time.
Another thing, Kaisa is going a little bit more AP heavy.
Yes,
there is an
this
Asher's.
is this build we talked about,
yes.
yeah. Getting just the 1 or 2 AD items, then pivoting to almost full AP, so.
Yeah, you have Winsus, attack speed, AP, AD.
Will it be enough to take down the Ornn?
I don't know if it
and the
will,
Dragon
especially
Show?
with Adaptive Helmet online.
Yeah.
You still have a lot of auto attacks, and Thornmail and Plated Steel Caps are still very good at stopping that.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, one of the big things that Mizzou has in their pocket is the Mountain Soul.
Right, yes. Yeah, I think, you know, all Mizzou has to do here is wait it out, try to defend where they can. Thankfully, they still have all of their tier 1 turrets up. Oh, looks like GMU is doing a good job of securing some vision around their bot side jungle. I don't know how helpful that will be though, since Baron is going to be spawning in about 40 seconds. I feel like they should have been focusing on getting vision on the other side of the map, but maybe they're looking to do a little cheese.
Maybe they're looking for
I feel like it's kind of just wasting their time though.
They might try to find another kill, because if you get a kill, it will, at this point into the game, essentially turn into a Baron, as death timers are going to be so long.
Yeah. I think Mizzou's just doing a great job sitting back. Kites is just farming under tower, not bothering to go into his jungle that he knows is full of their enemy vision.
Also, one of the problems with GMU, their only engage is really that Zac, and Mizzou have such good wave clear with the Jinx, with the Ziggs. They have really, really good wave clear that they're just able to stall out during this Elder Dragon. It's going to be expiring soon, so GMU really have to force something, or else this buff is just going to do nothing but stall.
I think they're trying to force Mizzou
I think
to
they are.
fight against
It's going to
Dragon.
TP in. The Magnet Swarm onto the back line. Nice eat there. Devour to keep Prefects alive. However, there is a Jace in the background. Prefects is trying to stay alive. Into the minefield he will go, but he will fall. Sintomomochi doing plenty of damage. That's going to burn away that barrier. And now, it's just Venom and Mbessa. The last Venom, Mbessa, and Zac. Zac, I believe, has fallen into his passive state. He will fall. Mizzou will clean up with an ace. They lose 2, but I think they're just going to march down mid with death timers.
I think they have so much time here. The only real threat coming up soon is Jace in 26 seconds now, so they can definitely secure the inhib before he's back. As far as securing the Baron goes, it's still a bit tricky. It'll be interesting to see here what Mizzou decides to do, as they still have almost 3 minutes before.
I think they're going to try. Sintomomochi, it is a Ziggs. They do a lot of damage, and Wild Psyduck, I think, is just going to try to kill the minions. Sintomomochi will go ahead and destroy the first tower. They will walk away. It is not the game. Turrets do respawn after a while, but it does put GMU a little afraid that next fight might just be their last.
And with 2 TPs, one of them being on Ziggs, it's certainly possible if these waves keep pushing for someone to get into their base. I don't think Mizzou put down any vision though for a TP to a ward. It would have to be to a minion. But I think they can completely shred this Baron and get another push going pretty easily.
Yep, Baron started here, and there's just no response. It will be a free take here from Mizzou. They will go ahead and reset, get their final items, and get ready for their final push.
Ooh, Jinx getting that Runeans now is going to be really, really strong. I don't think we have a finished item on the Tom Kench, unfortunately. I think that's about it. We just got a component. Probably, is it for Death Cap for the Ziggs?
Yeah, I think it's got to be for Death Cap. That's really the only thing I can see. Also, fun thing, Ziggs picking up the Morello, or not the Morello, the book, the Dark Seal.
Oh, the Dark Seal, yeah.
Dark Seal, 16 stacks.
Down. Very, very strong. Yeah, not the not the other book.
The big book.
Yes.
It was a book. The Magi's. The Magi
Yes.
stacks up to 16. It was a book, the wrong book.
Yes.
And this outer turret, or this inner turret, should almost certainly be free for the taking. Inferno is incredibly tanky.
So
There's not
tanky.
really a way for GMU to really shred through that. Apex going in by himself, but it's an Ornn. And Ornn is tanky. There's not going to be a lot of damage going over to the way of him. That's going to be the Ornn Horn. He's going to get, unfortunately, knocked out of the way by the Jace. Jace sacrificing himself for the
Not
team. The
tanky
Super Mega
enough.
Death Rocket will land, and Jace will Stall, but fall.
Yeah, I think Mizzou should be able to secure at least the tower here. Do have a strong mid-wave push as well.
Zach
Everyone has Baron,
charging
though.
up here, looking to go in. This turret is all but gone. Jinx is excited. They have to back up. They have to respect it. She'll get excited off of the inhibitor as well.
Yeah, once Jinx gets passive, it's just so easy to destroy the base. They just have to be careful about positioning here. It can be very easy for Mbessa.
They're going to look for the fight. Kites here, trying to get some damage. Nice devour there onto Prefects. They're really trying to force everything onto Prefects, who is staying alive in the back line. They will get the reset. They will get a second kill as well. Attack Helicopter will get one, but a nice super mega death rocket will find the last. Apex cleans it up, and Mizzou will take us to a game 3.
Oh yeah, I've got to say that bot lane for Mizzou played so well the entire game. Getting Jinx so strong, keeping her alive no matter what was so great. And she really shined in a lot of those ending team fights, but also the Ornn and the Tahm Kench being so tanky and no one on GMU being able to stop them made a huge difference.
Yeah, and I really feel like it was a real big draft issue from GMU. They had no damage.
Yeah.
Their damage was in an Ambessa and in a Kaisa. And when you're going up against a Tahm Kench and an Ornn, you need something that really can break through those tank HP bars.
Absolutely.
And I don't think AP Kaisa is going to do that, and I don't think Ambessa is going to do that.
Yeah.
You're running Jace. Maybe if you go an AD Jace and you win lane really hard, it's a little bit different. But when you're going that tank Jace, he just doesn't do that damage.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, we are going on to a game 3. This is a best of 3 series, so very exciting final game here coming up soon.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. Final game. Can Mizzou take it? Can they get the reverse sweep? We'll have to wait and find out. Mizzou versus GMU, game 3, up in a few. See you then. Welcome back, Mizzou. Very, very solid game number 2 to fight
Oh
back
yeah.
versus GMU, taking us to a game number 3. What does GMU have to do? They have swapped sides, so Mizzou will be on the red side. What does GMU really have to do in order to bring this back?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they have some really strong first pick here since they are going to be on blue side. This is also Fearless Draft, so again, we're not going to see any of the champions that we saw before. So maybe they have some really interesting picks. I know typically you first pick 80 carry, but it looks like it's going to be the Skarner.
Yeah, so Skarner getting through the ban is pretty unexpected. GMU really changing their bans. Victor, Braum, Ezreal off the table here. Some big
Yeah.
changes. Mizzou, Tried and True, Seraphine, Wukong, Yone were banned. And seeing
It's
this Garner,
very
they're
interesting.
hovering this Gwen right now. And we've seen it in the jungle before. Maybe Kites has played it in the past. Who knows?
Yes, yeah, I think we've seen it in the jungle. We could also see a top lane, so it could be sort of a flex pick. I don't know. Is Gwen some secret counter to the Skarner, perhaps, that would make that viable?
She really is just kind of one of those tank busters. Skarner as a tank. She's a tank buster.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to have to wait and see where that goes. And the Sivir hover by Mizzou, very interesting. Not something that Prefects plays very often, but, this is Fearless Draft, so a lot of those champs that he typically plays are already off the board. So, yeah.
I'm not expecting the Sivir, especially when things like Misfortune, Ash
Yeah.
are all available. Blinding the Sivir is kind of interesting, and GMU
Maybe-
instant responses. Misfortune, Fiora is open. Their top laner plays it. They're going to pick it.
Yeah, I think, maybe the Misfortune is countered by the Sivir, and that's why they figured that GMU would pick it, and so they picked the Sivir ahead of time just to take that away from them. Since they already banned out their Seraphine and their Ashe, and what did they just play?
Seraphine.
Seraphine, Ashe.
No, they haven't played Seraphine. They
No,
played
but it's
Kai'Sa.
banned.
They played Kai'Sa.
Kai'Sa are all off the
Ashe.
table, so really knows
Varus,
on the options.
Varus was still up.
Yes.
Could have been played. Renekton locked in here for R3 for Mizzou to go into the Fiora.
Okay, so it is going to be the Gwen jungle there, which, again, like we said, probably pretty good into Skarner, and the Renekton, I assume, is a counter pick to the Fiora, so not bad picks so far by Mizzou.
It is definitely a skill matchup because if Renekton can't get that W off and Fiora can time the parry, it's essentially a free fight for Fiora, and Renekton can't really fight back.
Yeah.
So it is a skill matchup. I think it is a little bit Renekton favored because there are ways that you can bait out the parry before you throw out the W. But I just don't like Renekton. I've been a proponent against Renekton. I understand that it is Fearless Draft, so you don't have things like the Ornn available.
Right.
But when you have something like the Gwen, who I don't think is the worst in the Fiora, especially there are some hidden passive things.
Yeah.
If you play around the edges of her, Gwen is invulnerable. Fiora can't actually get vital procs on you.
Yeah.
If you play around the edge, it's actually impossible for her to target you with the Q or with autos to get any of those vital procs. So it actually becomes a very Gwen-sided matchup.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's kind of interesting then. Maybe Kites just really wanted to play that Gwen jungle. So we also have some bans here. A lot of supports ban. We have the Bard and Lulu and Leona all taken off the table, as well as the Corki is kind of interesting. Since we already saw the Misfortune, I guess it could be a Corki mid, but GMU is going to pick that Talia, while Mizzou picks the Galio.
Yeah, picking the Galio. The one thing I am not liking is Galio doesn't have that one person that jumps in and where you can follow.
It's
The
not too late,
closest
though.
right now, it is not too late. You still have that support, but the closest you have right now is Renekton.
Yeah.
And when you see a Talia locked in, you need something that can dive in very easily without having to worry about dashing through those Talia
Yeah.
rocks.
Yeah, and I think here too, Mizzou's kind of missing like a lot of poke other than Sivir, so it's really interesting to see here what they pick last, if it is going to be a support pick into that Senna.
Yeah, what are you going to pick? I'm assuming they're going to go something more engage-orientated. You need something that allows the Galio and the Renekton to follow up. You
Yeah.
have Sivir movement speed. You have Gwen. You need something that really starts off fights.
Oh,
Blitzcrank
cover.
Is the hover, and it is going to be the
Okay.
lock-in. That is technically something that does start fights. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for
Yeah,
something more like an Alistar, although Alistar suffers from the Talia
right.
issue. Same with
I
Leona.
yeah.
Um,
I
th-
don't hate the
I
Blitzcrank,
don't hate it as well.
especially into a Misfortune Senna lane. They're both super squishy. Both don't have a ton of mobility. Even Senna's Shroud, you can still get a general idea of where they are. So not terrible. It'll be interesting to see though. I feel like both of these comps are pretty interesting. I feel like something you see a lot with Fearless Drafts. I feel like neither comp has like a distinct identity or anything, or uh, any crazy combos other than Skarner and Misfortune alts. Um, but yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, what do you think about these drafts?
It's very interesting. I will give GMU the scaling. Fiora will hit a point in the side lane where Renekton falls off a cliff. There will be a point where Talia just has so much zone control, so much damage,
Yeah,
just so much. Just the cooldowns are so low, especially on the Q of the Weaver's Wall to get around to follow Galio when he tries to make plays.
yeah,
They will reach a point where Talia just has this control where Galio can't look for plays, where Renekton and Gwen can't look for plays. Mizzou is really, really playing around this Blitzcrank. A hook can change games,
yeah, for
but
sure.
right now that is Mizzou's real only tool for these fights as the game progresses, where they're kind of banking off a god hook.
Yeah, I mean, I think though too, you can still have Galio do a lot if you can sort of dash in and get that taunt off. That can also do a lot. You also have the Renekton stun, so hopefully they can get some chain CC off of each other. I feel like the only real problem with GMU's comp is just how tanky Skarner is. But I do think that Gwen and Sivir can both sort of burn through that. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. I feel like we can expect a lot of mobility around the map this game, which should be really interesting to watch.
Yeah, we did. I haven't really seen it too much. The
Yeah.
mid lane roaming. I know roaming has kind of come back with those the feats of strength, trying to get those 3 kills
Yes.
early,
Yeah.
trying to get those early objectives, the early neutrals. Roaming has kind of become much more of a game plan mid. Seeing both of these mid laners having a lot of mobility, especially cross map
Oh yeah.
mobility, I'm expected to see a lot of roams come level 6.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be really interesting to see, and hopefully a fun game to watch.
Hopefully, we'll have to wait and see. We have the delay up in just a few, so don't go anywhere. The final game, Mizzou versus GMU, Game 3. Who's going to take it? We'll have to see. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the ref for game number 3, the decider of the final. Mizzou versus GMU. As it is a blitzcrank, I'm assuming we're going to get a level 1 funny cheese as Inferno is going to flash forward, and it's going to be a flash for flash. We
Almost
take those.
interesting. Yeah, just got to see some flashes going out, but that's okay. But yeah, should be pretty interesting here. I mean, Talia not having flash is pretty huge. Maybe some good plays here if we can get a gank mid lane before we hit 5 minutes. As Blitzcrank just has Hex Flash, so they didn't lose much there at all.
Yeah, they don't lose much. It's going to be a big cooldown off the table there for the Talia, and potentially if Kites and Santamomochi plan around it, they can hopefully get an early kill and try to punish the Talia for the early play.
Absolutely. So yeah, be interesting to see here how that goes. It's kind of interesting here with the sums. Looking at bot lane first, we have barrier on both ADCs, while Senna has ignite and Blitzcrank has Senna has heal and Blitzcrank has ignite, which is to be expected for those two supports. Senna trying to keep her ADC alive while Blitzcrank trying to be very aggressive. Meanwhile, GMU only has one teleport on the Talia. Fiora has the ignite.
And running the ignite on the Fiora, looking to try to fight early against Apex here in the top lane. I was talking about the top lane matchup with the Renekton. I'm not a fan of Renekton, but this is even scarier because she will outscale Renekton, and this just makes that laning phase much harder for Renekton to get a lead in, and he really needs that lead if he wants to do anything this game.
Yeah, the one thing that I think really helped out Mizzou last game was how scaling their comp was and how they were able to use the feats to get very strong and stack all those dragons, whereas this game it kind of feels like they need to work more towards those early plays before Renekton falls off. But they do still have some scaling with the Gwen and the Sivir for sure, so be interesting to see here what they choose to prioritize, especially as far as these objectives go.
Yeah, we'll have to see, as we're going to see a little bit of a change in the junglers. Oh, that's the stun, but it's not going to get parried. Apex plays around it well. The flash, though, Apex might have just thrown this lane away, as Venom will flash, will collect the first blood up in the top lane. Ignite and flash versus just the flash.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, like, the Ignite just made such a big difference there. I think he probably could have gotten the kill if he didn't take so much damage himself. But thankfully he does have TP, doesn't lose too much, and because Fiora backed and doesn't have TP herself, he might be able to get a pretty good push here, maybe even a plate on that top side tower.
He might, but it's still just a rough situation. Renekton needs this lead in the top lane. He needs to get ahead early.
Yeah.
And first blood not going the way you wanted to does not help you get that lead. Mochi will go ahead and get the stun onto the Talia, get some damage, has the phase rush to get away. Kites here, so is the Skarner, is going to burn the Ghost. Kites is going to be forced away from the seismic shove. They're trying to turn onto the Skarner. They've got a lot of damage from the snips, but it's just not enough.
I think they do force both of them to back off, though. Hopefully this means that they can get some good pressure for these objectives that are coming up here soon, but hard to say this early.
Yeah, hard to say. Bottom lane, nothing too crazy going on. No big hooks for the time being. We'll see if that changes. Talia Flash almost back online, so Mizzou not able to punish that early summoner spell being down, unfortunately. Oh, good hook. The knock-up, they're going to try. That's going to be the ignite. That's going to be the heal. They're trying to get the damage on the wild side. They just don't. They do get a summoner spell trade, which is not the worst. So next time they land a hook, maybe it'll turn into something.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, typically you see Sivir with enchanters like Yumi or Lulu, so it's hard to say how much she can really follow up on these big Blitzcrank engages. Does look like a bit
lane,
of a
Kites, and Apex looking for Venom. Venom just has the movement speed. They have boots. They have the little lunge, the dash, and she's out of there with not even needing to worry about anything.
Yeah, we do have Drake spawn now, but Skarner is moving towards his topside jungle while Kites is moving towards bot. I wonder if this is going to be another trade, like we see a lot. do have a bit of engage here by Sinto Mochi, getting a lot of damage down onto the Talia, but not really converting it into anything just yet.
Yeah. Flash back online here for Talia, so the early flash trade will not prove relevant, as a nice seismic shove into the unravel ground will take Sinto Mochi down low, up in top lane now. Apex has got to worry as the Skarner is making their way. No flash, has dashes. If he can get the slice and dice to safety, he will. The ignite goes down, but the stun into the wall means Apex will fall.
Just so much damage there, and CC. I mean, that ignite is just so deadly. It's really hard for him to make any engages while it's up. And unfortunately, really good timing by the Skarner there, as he's going to be able to secure grubs off of this as well. But Mizzou is securing that dragon in return, it seems.
Yeah, it is going to be a trade of neutrals. 1,000 gold lead here for GMU, 2-0. One more kill away from claiming the Feat of Blood, or whatever it's called, the first to 3 kills.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think, at this point in the game, Mizzou might want to play a bit more towards getting mid and bot strong, since top is a bit behind.
The pause. We might be having some technical difficulties right now. Riot Games indie client spectate bugs. We love to see it.
Yeah, sometimes this
happens.
This spectator view just tends to bug out a little bit. But trust us, we are working on it, and it looks like we are back.
We are back
for now.
And we're not back.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We are going to go ahead and take a quick break while we get this fixed. We'll be back in a few. Hopefully we get this solved and we get back on the Rift with game number 3. We'll see you in a few. Sorry about that. We are back, and the score has slightly shifted since the 6:30 time, and it's 4-1. The flash away. Inferno will not grab the misfortune this time, but a good try. Mizzou
Yeah.
looking at it, struggling up on the top side, 0-3-0 on the Renekton. Down some farm. Bot lane, looks like Prefects has picked up a kill along with that misfortune.
Yeah, looking here at what we missed, looks like there was a bit of a kerfuffle in the bot lane, as well as Mizzou securing. Oh, no, they had already secured the Drake and Grub, so no additional objectives secured since we last tuned in. But it is 4-1, so GMU does have that Feats of Warfare secured. And I think that is all we've missed.
Yeah, looks like that's all other than some farming and laning phase. Both mid laners still have their ultimates available to get around if they want to look for a big play. Momochi gonna go ahead and start building this tank build and not gonna see the kind of bruiser where he builds a little bit more AP. Looking for the hook, grabs it. A good knock-up follow-up here. Gonna land the stun as well. They're trying to get the damage and that they will. Since Momochi with the slam
Well,
finds the Talia.
That Talia just exploded. There's so much damage going out, and I think maybe Talia didn't really dodge, didn't splash because she thought Skarner was there to save her. But
Ooh, unfortunately, Apex is going to fall instantly. Kite's trying to help out, but it's just not enough. Needlemark going to go out as well, but it's just not enough damage. Inferno now going to get found out by Hydroshi, and it's just too low with Senna making their way up to. There's going to be the root, and they're going to go ahead and find the kill. Hydroshi will launch a rock over towards the robot.
unfortunately, I think this means that GMU is going to secure all 6 of the grubs yet again, as Kites does decide to base. So yeah, a bit of an unfortunate trade there, meaning that GMU not only got the Feats of Warfare, but now has, well, most likely will have 2 feats towards monster slaying. So, or 2 points towards the feat of monster slaying, I should say.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna
Mizzou
be-
definitely needs a strike.
It's going to be very easy to take those towers too for the first brick feat as well.
Yeah, if Mizzou, even if they stay up with these objectives and don't give that away, they still need to keep their towers alive in order to not give feats away.
Yeah, looks like they're going to start trying to get this dragon. They do have 4 members here. Rotations are going to be on the way from GMU. It's going to be a little bit late. Inferno has a hook if they want to look for something too as well, but with the Momochi moving away, no one's going to try to steal that objective, and Mizzou will claim once again their second dragon. Ocean Soul is the name of the game this time.
Yeah, Ocean Soul, you know, if nothing else, makes the map look real pretty, and that's why I like Ocean Soul. But I think it is pretty good for their team comp if Mizzou wants to keep stacking these dragons, you know, making everyone just a little bit more healthy. It's never a bad thing.
Yeah, Fiora just so far ahead. Does not care, sitting on the full Ravenous Hydra completed. Apex is sitting on some scraps. Very, very far ahead right now, this Fiora, and it's just going to get harder and harder for the Crocodile. And I was saying it, you know, when we saw the draft pick, I'm not a fan of Renekton. He needs to get ahead, and he couldn't do that in laning phase, and he's just going to be a little meatball for this Fiora to kind of pick away at. Bullet time going to be used. Inferno getting taken quite low, but no kill.
You know, I think that the 2 wards there in that bush is just such a mind game going out from GMU's bot lane. Really got to get that double vision there in the dry bush, and unfortunately, even though they got that stun and ult down on the Blitzcrank, they were not able to secure a kill.
Momochi, a good dash away. Bot lane, these minions. The Void Grubs, problematic. The hook will land. They'll get the knockup. Unfortunately, I don't think they have the damage. Prefects is trying to get this. They're looking. They will find it with the help of the Ignite. Now trying to find Wild Psyduck. The ultimate's going to come out. Prefects has to run. The flash forward. The Heartsteel stack. Inferno trying to get some damage. They're just going to bop each other.
You know, I gotta say so far, I think that Hydroshi has done a really good job of roaming around the map, getting really good ganks off and counter ganks to get his laners ahead. You know, we saw multiple ganks top lane that got Fiora ahead. That gank there to clean up bot lane, even though his AD carry did die and kept his support alive. She's sitting at 0-0-4, which is not a bad scoreline at all for support at this point in the game. So yeah, I think Mizzou really needs to focus on surviving those ganks. As the game progresses, Garner just has so much mobility And yeah, really something they've struggled with so far in the game.
Yeah, Skarner 3-0-2, sitting on that Heartsteel. Kites up farm, but not as successful gank-wise with the triple goose egg.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Gwen, should be pathing. If she just needs to wait to get a little bit stronger with her ultimate to make those ganks successful.
That feats of strength will be claimed here for GMU. They will claim that top tower thanks to a very, very strong Fiora.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. I think it's not over yet, though. I think Mizzou really has good stacking of these Drakes so far and are setting up very well with those next ones spawning in just under 2 minutes. But yeah, I think they have to play really carefully. They're already down 5,000 gold nearly. And, even if they're stacking these objectives, they need to turn that into turrets and other things across the map.
Yeah, they need to use some of the leads that they have. There's, I think, a little bit of a lead for Prefects out in the bot lane. It's not a lot, but it's something. Galio in the mid lane doing pretty well for themselves as well. And they just need to use, what leads they have. They just need to, at this point, kind of just sack top. Apex is, I hate to say it at this point, pretty much out of the game. He just needs to start getting tanky, start trying to be a meatball for his team in order to kind of be useful as a bruiser tank hybrid thing and just eat damage as they're going to try to turn this. Kites, a nice stun. The bullet time is going to shreds into Momochi. Kites will be able to find the first. Now they're trying to look onto attack helicopter. Unfortunately, there are a lot of members there. Prefects trying to make his way over, has the bouncing blades, trying to find something. Shutdown goes over to the way of Skarner. Prefects not able to get the boomerang and flash away from attack helicopter. Now he's got to turn and run. Inferno also forced to turn and burn as Apex in the bot lane is just getting hammered down.
Oh my god.
Shut down. Hydroshi finds another.
That is twice now that Prefects has just gotten smoked by the... I'm not sure if that's Heartsteel damage or just because it's a fed Skarner, but that's just gotta be really unfun to play into.
It probably does. Apex, I think, has to be careful. He is very close to dying, and in fact, I think is going to tick away here as...
Ooh.
In fact, I think Wild Psyduck steals that one away from Venom. Call it a steal, call it a secure, whatever. It's another dead Renekton.
I think at this point... Ooh, Kites, okay. I think at this point, Mizzou really needs to focus on playing slowly, trying to get ahead and farm. There's not a single lane that's up in farm, it's just the jungle, but they are somewhat behind in objectives here, only have 2 dragons to their name, and they're losing towers across the map. So if Mizzou wants to get ahead, they need to play safely here, especially since GMU has that Herald. They could make a pretty big push.
Inferno needs to hit a God Hook, and he will land it onto Senna. The instant heal, but I think they don't have enough damage. There's no one there to help. The Skarner is just pounding down on the Blitzcrank on the side. Kite's making his way over. Sinto Momochi is forced to turn tail and run as he is dying. Kite's now getting suppressed. Not getting hit into the wall. Will get impaled into the team. Here comes Galio, the grand entrance. They're just so tanky. They finally find the shutdown onto the Skarner. But Mizzou is just too low. They lose Kites in the progress. Apex gets shoved in and will fall. Meanwhile, Venom doesn't care. He will go ahead and claim the top tower, and he's going to keep going.
I think he can just keep going. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. Nobody can really... I mean...
Prefects and Inferno, they will get a hook, but it is a dead robot. Nice kill there, goes the way of Sinto Momochi, but Prefects, the double kill over to Senna. And up in that top lane, Sinto Momochi is going to teleport. He will get away. But Venom is just raining down on this top lane. They're going to get this inhibitor even.
It's a pretty early inhibitor, but it makes it really hard for Mizzou to get control over Baron once it does spawn, since top wave is going to be pushing in.
Going to make it hard to get control over Dragon as well, especially with no teleports.
Yeah.
This Dragon is surely GMU's, and another turret out here is taking some damage. It will not fall. Fortunately, the hook will go wide. Inferno is going to get shoved in. We'll go ahead and burn the static shock. We'll get some damage out. The needlework being used, going to try and get some damage. Sinto Momochi over here as well will force the flash away. Skarner has made their way over though, and I don't think they have the damage. Sinto Momochi now is going to have to turn away and run. We'll go ahead and get rooted up. We'll get the impale. Trying to get some taunts, trying to get some damage, trying to get away. A good flash from Hydroshi will stop Sentamomochi from getting away. And Sentamomochi will also fall. Another turret will get claimed here for GMU. The gold lead is growing more and more. I think this dragon is also not long for this world.
Yeah, very unfortunate here for Mizzou. They're just so far behind. Over 10,000 gold behind to be exact. I mean, it feels like it's pretty doomed here. Maybe they can have a god outplay if GMU goes this Otacon too early. They can do the same thing that GMU did to them last game, I believe it was.
Last game.
Where they think they're really far ahead. They can go for that Otacon, but they just get down too low and get killed. I think that's kind of the only play for Mizzou at this point for them to have a chance of winning this game. I feel like it's pretty unlikely they'll be able to stall out long enough to get Soul, even if they have those dragons stacked. But since they lost the feats, if they lose Otacon, it's pretty much over, I think, for Mizzou.
It's going to be tough. You're really hoping for a miracle play, an insane outplay from something, you know, we're talking like 5-man taunt from Sentamomochi.
Oh, yeah.
Into Prefects raining down boomerangs
I mean,
on
I don't
everyone.
think we've seen like a crazy combo yet with like a Galio ult, Blitzcrank engage. Like, really haven't seen them come together as a team yet.
They're just going to instantly start Atacon, and there's just no response. Apex is trying to just fight Venom, and I think Venom will win this in 2v1. They'll go ahead and get the proc, and they're going to go ahead and start fighting kites. They're getting the shields. The needlework is going to come out. Venom is doing so well. The outplay. Here comes Talia with the Weaver's Wall. They will go ahead and claim Atacon, so it doesn't even matter at this point. But not like you could kill her anyway. Venom is still alive, still has the Atacon buff. Mizzou have lost 2.
At this point, I think it might just be over. I think Mizzou, especially with the GA, if Fiora just runs at them, she could wipe them all.
They will go ahead and get sent back to the base. The flash away. I don't think you needed to do that, especially when you have Atacon.
Yeah.
It's just a summoner down. They will go ahead and withdraw to safety.
Yeah, I really didn't think Fiora would just run at them at 1 HP.
I think that is the play.
I mean, if she had gotten the tower, it probably would have been a little more worth it. But I do think GMU is just going to back off now that their turbo-fed top laner is dead or withdrawn. Walking back now, setting up a bit on the bot side of the map. Probably going to just make another push for that bot tower, maybe mid tower. But Mizzou really needs to focus up here to try and turn this back.
The Fiora is 3 items in with a hull breaker. They're sitting in the side lane the rest of the game, and they don't care.
Yeah.
2-3 people for Mizzou have to match them, or they will just end the game at this point.
Yeah. Makes it very, very hard for Mizzou to accomplish anything around the map if they're just focusing on this Fiora the entire time. But yeah, I think most of their team still has the GA up. They might just run at Mizzou, try to kill them all, and end the game.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Kites is a quarter of his HP. A nice hook will go ahead and land. They will go ahead and find the Senna. They will be withdrawn. Hydroshi is in the middle of everyone right now, raining down fire. Venom here as well. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from Senna. Venom finds a killing spree. Sentamomochi trying to find this Hydroshi. They will find him. They will make him withdraw. Venom does not have the Otacon buff, but I don't think it matters because he does not care. Going to try to turn this around. A nice path there from Talia will stop anyone from continuing on. The first tower has fallen. Inferno is back. They're looking onto a lot. A nice 3-man taunt. They're trying to get this damage. Prefect will get a 1,000 gold shutdown. Fiora falls.
The game is not over yet, but I think it's still pretty tricky here for Mizzou to make a comeback like we talked about. They really don't have an option for moving out of their base at this point. They just have the 1 inhibitor standing in the mid lane.
No turrets up.
Yeah, the most vulnerable, I'd say. Like we talked about before, the Nexus turrets do respawn eventually, but I think they have to, like we said before, make a god play, get both Baron and a dragon, but like Dragon doesn't really matter because it's not even at Soul Point. It's not Elder yet. So maybe if they have the Baron, they can keep their base alive a little bit longer and then make a play for securing Soul. But that's about their only option.
What does Mizzou have to do besides find the perfect play?
Yeah.
I think that's really what they have to do.
That or someone on GMU royally messes up, overextends, gets caught out. But, I mean, there's no turrets on the map. Unless they walk in blind 1v5, I don't know what they could really do. And even then, if it's Fiora or Skarner, I think they could still make it out. To get a couple
all
down
5
with them.
members here for GMU walking down this mid lane. The flash away from Prefects to try to stay alive.
Right,
Blitzcrank will get rooted. There is no God Hook this time. He will fall. Apex is trying to get damage, but that's a huge bullet time. They will try to find something. They will find the Misfortune. Kites in the back is trying to get damage, but he will get shoved away. He will fall. Momochi next on the list. And Mizzou is gone. Venom onto the Nexus. It does not matter. GMU will take Mizzou in 3 games. And
Yeah.
Mizzou, unfortunately, that last game was not pretty.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, they had such a great comp that worked for them in game 2, but this is Fearless Draft. They can't play those champs again, and instead of picking a comp with a similar identity, they picked quite a few different champs that just didn't really mesh well together. It was very unfortunate to see. Additionally, GMU's jungler just had really great movement all across the map, really great ganks and getting kills early and feeding his top laner for sure. So, yeah, I think just really great plays by GMU overall and unfortunate draft for Mizzou.
Yeah, I mean, I think the top laner, especially the Fiora, they didn't have the biggest kills on the board. I mean, I'm sure they did. They were absolutely running a train on Mizzou.
Yeah.
2v1ing in the bot lane, doing whatever they want. They have Ignite as well. That's the problem when you're drafting that Renekton. You need to win lane.
Right.
And if you can't win lane against Fiora, she's going to outscale you anyway.
Yeah.
And it just felt really unfortunate for Mizzou, losing that top lane so hard. Fiora could do whatever they want, and they played around her so well.
Oh, yeah.
It drew so much of Mizzou's attention. The Skarner, like you said, around the map just doing so well. Just unfortunate to see Mizzou fall like this.
Yeah, absolutely. But still great games to watch. Great show by Mizzou as well.
Yeah, good showing. Game 2 looked really good for Mizzou. Had a lot of hopes going into 3. Unfortunately, I think just drafting-wise, it didn't look the best, and you could see that play out on the Rift. But that's going to be it here for us tonight. Thank you for casting with me once again, Bailey. Yeah. Tomorrow, we do have some Valorant co-ed at 7:30, so be there to watch that. It's going to be hopefully a very good series that's going to be here for us tonight. Have a good night, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you tomorrow.